Nerdettes Newsstand, and we have some big news coming out of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation. Now, I actually am going to break this into two videos. I want to talk about the basics when it comes to the court that happened today, and then a little bit later this evening, I want to talk about the actual text messages and stuff that we are seeing from Johnny, but that one will be up later. It's a little bit more of a spicy topic, so I am going to separate them. But first off, I want to apologize if my audio sounds a little bit off. I am at work, which means I have to use my lapel mic as compared to my stand-up mic, and sometimes the audio quality is not quite as good. So I apologize for that. But let's talk about what happened. So Johnny Depp made a surprise appearance today at court over his wife beating defamation suit. Now, if you know anything about this situation, you know that Johnny Depp is and was not the perpetrator of violence in this relationship. I have covered this quite in depth, and I will put the link to my Justice for Johnny Depp playlist in the description if you want to kind of keep up on what is going on, because there is evidence after evidence, audio, just an insane amount of evidence that the mainstream media has basically completely ignored, right? They ignore it when it comes to defending Johnny Depp because he was a male victim of domestic violence. But when it was Amber Heard, they were right there defaming him, and that's exactly what he's going after. So there was a Washington Post one, but this one we're talking about is the British tabloid The Sun. Now, that kind of how do I say this nicely? They're not very reputable. They don't put out truth. A lot of the stuff they kind of bend to their agenda, and they'll leave truth out where it should be applied. And that's exactly what they did in this situation. Well, they are having consequences for it. Journalists nowadays have gotten to a point where, they protect who they want to protect. They don't have any interest in real reporting. I remember when I was younger, and you could watch CNN, you could pick up, the Washington Post, something like that. And it was always, at least from what I remember, pretty good. You were able to trust it for the most part. Now there are, things taken out of context, just blatant lies we see from these people time and time again. And at some point they need to be held liable. So real journalism and reporting comes back. Well, that's exactly what we're getting here. We saw them, CNN being held liable not that long ago, and now we're seeing it from The Sun, which is, like I said, it's British. So this is all happening in London today. So it says Johnny Depp is suing The Sun over claims he beat his ex-wife and was the aggressor in their relationship. They literally called the man a wife beater. Like, it gets worse than that. But they called him a wife beater and then never retracted it. And then just took the word wife beater out and left all the rest of the fake evidence in. It's kind of amazing how ridiculous these people are when all it is for clicks. And like, are you really that low? Yeah, I guess you kind of are, aren't you? So it says Johnny Depp has appeared at the High Court in London for a hearing in the libel case against the British tabloid newspaper. The Hollywood actor is suing the publisher of The Sun and its executive editor, Dan Wooten, over an article that alleged he had been abusive to his former wife, Amber Heard. Now, I'm curious to see how this is going to go, because I do think he has a pretty much guarantee when it comes to the defamation suit with Amber. Now, when it comes to the tabloids, it's a little more tricky, because you can use certain words that kind of get you out of defaming someone, right? Like you can say, he allegedly hit her, and then that gets you out of it. Now, they didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. And I will tell you here in a minute what the actual title was. They didn't say allegedly. They were saying it with a guarantee, which is insane to me. So it says Depp, 55, denies the allegations of the domestic abuse. He has been accused, Ms. Heard, of being the aggressor in the relationship, which is now ended. Of course, it has been over. They are divorced, but there is so much fallout, and I don't think there originally would be. So I think if they had just got divorced, parted ways, stuff like that. But what happened was Amber wanted to advance her career. She wanted to get more, it was shortly before the time of Aquaman, so it made, a little bit more publicity for Aquaman, a lot more publicity for Amber Heard. She wanted to advance her career, and she saw this Me Too moment, and she grabbed it. And unfortunately, for a while, it worked. She was, everywhere there for a while, until people started to realize there wasn't any real bruises. There was a lot of makeup. There wasn't any real issues within, Johnny Depp's part of the relationship. And then we started getting more. There started getting leaks and stuff. So, if she had just left it alone, it would have just been a divorce and it would have been over. But she couldn't. Her career was more important to her than this man's livelihood, life, and reputation. How messed up is that? So it says he listened as barrister David Sherborne told the court that this is a very unusual in the sense that Ms. Heard's allegations against her ex-husband have been publicly aired on a massive scale in the media, largely by the actress herself. Exactly. She definitely made this bigger than it ever needed to be. It never needed to happen. And it needs to be taken as a precedent so other women don't do this. So it says Mr. Sherborne said in the trial, which is due to start March 23rd, last 10 days, the evidence involved is diametrically opposed. So we're getting a little bit of a he said, she said situation, except for when it comes to straight up evidence. Now, straight up evidence can't be refuted. I don't care if you think your feelings are facts. They are not. You need to go by real logic. You need to go by facts. You need to go by evidence. And that's absolutely, I think, at least at this point, what they are doing. So he told Mr. Justice Nicole there is such a contrast in the versions of events that is provided by Ms. Heard and that is provided by Mr. Depp. It is black and white. One person, one side is lying, and one is not. Obviously, we say that it is Ms. Heard who is lying. Mr. Depp is 100% clear about that. And at this point, I believe it. You kind of have to. We've seen so much stuff come out, and we've seen her as just this garbage human being. Like, let's be real. She's just a garbage human being. Mr. Sherborne said that the evidence demonstrate in her own voice that she was not a victim of domestic violence, but rather she was the aggressor. So I'm curious to see if this is something different than the audio leaks we have before, because what he's saying is she admitted she was never a victim. She's admitted that. Now, is that going to be made to the public? I don't know. It just depends on how this court case and the proceedings go. But she's admitted it. There is recordings. I really want to hear it. He added that in the recording, Miss Heard is apparently heard to say that no one would believe Mr. Depp if he claimed to be a victim of domestic violence. And I've talked about this a little bit before. That's a messed up situation. That's a woman that wants to get her way. She's stomping her feet and crying her eyes out because she's a child inside. And she thinks she can get away with it. And she kind of did for a while. Like, she really did. And that's really sad because men can absolutely be victims of domestic violence. Like, there is a good chunk of them that are. But you are trivializing, Amber, you are trivializing every man that's gone through domestic violence by saying that no one would believe him. Not only that, but you are trivializing every woman by pretending to be a victim when you are nothing but a garbage human being liar. I can't believe this. So here, let's talk about what the Sun actually says. It said the libel claim against the news group newspapers and Mr. Wooten arises out of the publication of the article in the Sun. Now, this was from April 2018, and here is the headline. Gun Party. How can J.K. Rowling be genuinely happy casting wife-beater Johnny Depp in the new Fantastic Beasts films? Wife-beater was the word. No alleged, no nothing. So, you get what you deserve, right? And they eventually did take the wife-beater thing out, but the article was still up. They never printed a retraction, so I really hope this goes his way. He deserves it. he deserves some sort of vindication. But I will talk about the flip side of this in my next video a little bit later on, because the evidence that was given against Johnny is a little sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. You'll see. Let me know what you guys think about this court case that happened just today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Subscribestar and Patreons. You guys literally make this channel possible. Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris C, Dave Ross, David L, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Sanjuro, Jeremy Burtz, Joe Bustify, Kato Round, Magical Exotic Diamonds, Mighty Pauls, Mike Buckner, Robert, Steve Glasker, Timothy French, Ala's Matt Films, Alexander Trapp, Way Else One, and Troy Reiser. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like on the way out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.